Welcome to Only the Truth, a true crime podcast. I'm Maureen Meehan, your host, and today we focus on my novel, Prison Break, a Mary MacIntosh novel. Let's start by examining some of the 5-star reviews that I've received on Amazon. This one is from a gentleman by the name of Michael Cavavinci. A must-read book. Maureen Ann Meehan's Prison Break is a riveting masterpiece that weaves together mystery, suspense, and historical intrigue, captivating readers from the very first page. The story follows Mary MacIntosh, a determined investigator drawn into a web of unsolved crimes and a shadowy conspiracy that spans generations. Meehan masterfully constructs a narrative that is both thrilling and thought-provoking, making Prison Break a must-read for fans in the genre. Set against the backdrop of Sheridan, Wyoming, the plot kicks off with a deadly 1910 baseball game at the Wyoming State Penitentiary, which is a true crime that happened in Wyoming in 1910. Combine this with a chilling plane crash in the Bighorn Mountains above Sheridan and a ruthless killer on the loose. These seemingly unrelated events are intricately linked by a secret society with origins dating back to the early 20th century. The society's members have been manipulating historical events, and it falls upon Mary MacIntosh to uncover their plans to stop generations of conspiracies. One of the standout elements of Prison Break is Meehan's ability to seamlessly blend historical and contemporary storylines. The convergence of past and present crimes add a layer of depth to the narrative, keeping readers on the edge of their seats. The detailed depiction of the era, combined with the vivid characterizations, brings the story to life, making the reader feel deeply invested in Mary MacIntosh's quest for the truth. The crash survivor, holding vital information, adds another intriguing dimension to the plot, creating a sense of urgency and suspense. Meehan's Prison Break is not just a mystery novel, it's a testament to the power of storytelling. The exploration of a secret society manipulating events through history is both fascinating and chilling. As Mary MacIntosh races against time to piece together the puzzle, readers are treated to a whirlwind of action, suspense, and historical revelations. The book's intricate plot, well-developed characters, and atmospheric setting make it a standout in the genre. Prison Break by Maureen Ann Meehan is a compelling and immersive read that expertly intertwines historical and contemporary mysteries. Her skillful storytelling and rich narrative make this book an unforgettable journey into the depths of conspiracy and crime. Whether you're a fan of historical fiction, mystery, or suspense, Prison Break is sure to satisfy and leave you eagerly awaiting the next installment in the Mary MacIntosh adventure. Another 5-star review by Megan Brame is called A Thrilling Tapestry of Time and Crime. In Prison Break by Maureen Ann Meehan, we're thrown into a whirlwind of mystery that spans generations. This isn't your average whodunit, folks. It's a mind-bending journey through time and crime that'll keep you guessing until the very end. Our hero, Mary MacIntosh, aka Mac, finds herself knee-deep in a web of intrigue that connects a deadly 1910 baseball game at the Wyoming State Penitentiary, a plane crash survivor on the run, and a recently escaped killer. Oh, and did I mention that the secret society pulling the strings behind all these scenes? Talk about a full plate. Meehan does a fantastic job weaving the seemingly unrelated events into a cohesive narrative that'll have you flipping pages faster than a baseball player rounds the bases. What I loved most about the book was how it blended historical elements and contemporary suspense. It's like a literary time machine that keeps you on your toes. The Wyoming setting adds a rugged, frontier-like backdrop to the story that I found super appealing. However, I will say that keeping track of all the moving pieces can be a bit challenging at times, but hey, that's part of the fun, right? If you're in the mood for a mystery that's part historical fiction, part thriller, and all-around entertaining, Prison Break is definitely worth the read. Just be prepared to put on your detective hat and buckle up for a wild ride through time and crime. And last but not least, another 5-star review from Stephen Max Finkelstein. The intrepid prosecutor, Mary MacIntosh, has a lot on her plate at the moment. The resident of Sheridan, Wyoming must investigate the connection between a killer who recently broke out of jail, a deadly plane crash in the Bighorn Mountains, and a baseball game with a lethal repercussions that occurred at the Wyoming State Penitentiary near the beginning of the 20th century in the year 1910. What do all these events have to do with each other? And could these actually be part of a secret society operating under Mary MacIntosh's nose that holds all the answers? She'd better figure it out because its seemingly desperate elements come together fast, and the danger is mounting with each passing moment. Prison Break by Maureen Ann Meehan is a novel that deftly combines the mystery and suspense. It's somewhat reminiscent by works of Michael Connelly and James Patterson. The pacing is brisk, and the dialogue does an excellent job of fleshing out the characters, particularly Mac, the spunky protagonist. There's historical elements to the story that add an undeniable richness to the proceedings. Meehan proves adept at intertwining the slow trickle of events from the past with those taking place in the present. However, she doesn't reveal anything too quickly. The result is a slow burn. The more the readers learn about what happened more than a century before, the more the events taking place in the present day take on an added significance. The meticulous approach to plot building is admirable. What also adds to the melange of literary delights on display in this novel is the appearance of a throng of well-written supporting characters, particularly Mac's husband, Berg. What is happening in Mary's personal life adds a sense of additional drama. Meehan makes clear that this time her protagonist wants to settle down, but she's also more determined than ever to bringing criminals to justice. This is a relatively short but entertaining read that does a fine job demonstrating the author's formidable grasp of the mystery genre. Readers should enjoy the historical lessons contained herein as much as spending time with a likable heroine. So now we are going to pivot to the book itself. This is a copy of Prison Break, a Mary MacIntosh novel. And the beginning is a true crime. It did happen in 1910 at the Wyoming State Penitentiary, where the guards divided the men on death row into two teams, and they played a baseball game, but it was a lethal one. And the losing team was executed on the spot, and this actually happened in 1910. And I want to start by reading a little bit about Chapter 1. In the old days of baseball, there existed a tradition that when the manager of the team felt like they had secured a victory, he put a bag at the end of the team bench, confident that the lead would be a victory. Hence, the colloquialism of "we have it in the bag." That means we have confidence in our success. This phrase is universally used today to describe success or victory. On July 19th, 1910, Cy Young, one of baseball's greatest pitchers, played his 500th career game. At the time, he was pitching for the Cleveland Naps, now the Cleveland Guardians, in the American League. Young's career spanned from 1890 to 1911. During that time, he set records that still stand today. And during that time, he set the most career win as 511. By 1910, he was already a legend, and reaching his 500th game cemented his place in history, which started Major Baseball League's Cy Young Award in his honor. In 1910, at the Wyoming State Penitentiary in Rawlins, Wyoming, inmates were given the chance to delay or avoid their executions if they won a baseball game against the other prisoners. If they lost, their execution would be carried out shortly thereafter. This did, in fact, happen, as I explained, in 1910. Flipping to Chapter 2, that's not all of Chapter 1, but I'm not going to read you the whole book. In medieval bird hunting days, men would use a beater, which is a person who drives game out of the areas covered by swinging sticks or flags. Hence, to flesh something out or get to the bottom of something is "don't beat around the bush," another colloquialism. So, pivoting to the secret society that the readers have been reviewing. Freemasonry has a long history, and several notable or infamous figures have been associated with it. For example, Aleister Crowley, who passed away in 1947, was known as a controversial oculist and mystic. He was involved in various esoteric organizations, including the Freemasons. He was also a founding member of Thelema, which is a religious movement that promoted individualism and self-expression. With a darker persona, got him the title of the wickedest man in the world. Albert Pike, who passed away in 1891, was also a prominent figure in the Freemasonry in the United States, known for his writings on Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Giuseppe Mazzini, passing away in 1872, was an Italian revolutionary and a Freemason. He played a significant role in Italy's unification and a leader in various secret societies. He has sometimes been accused of conspiring in the creation of Masonic-based world order, and he was particularly part of what was known as the Illuminati. There are several others that I describe in the book that were born or part of Freemasons, including Jack the Ripper, the serial killer in London, was a Freemason and also a serial killer. So that is part of chapter 2. We fast forward to chapter 9, talking about Mary MacIntosh, our protagonist. Mac was up all night with Google researching what was a fantastical book by Brian Priest called The Secret, published in 1982, and it included 12 cryptic verses and 12 detailed paintings. Solvers of this puzzle were to interpret the clues embedded in artwork and the verses to find exact burial spots that were casks were buried in various places in North America. Over the years, this became a treasure hunt captivated by puzzle enthusiasts worldwide. The small ceramic containers buried in secret locations across North America hold a key that could be exchanged for one of the 12 jewels: a sapphire, emerald, diamond, opal, ruby, and other precious stones. These jewels were chosen for their symbolic significance and were promised as rewards for those. There have been 3 of the 12 casts actually found. Again, this is true, in the United States. And one was buried in Chicago, and other places. I won't explain all of them because it goes in detail in chapter 9 of the book, but, the burial findings of this in the book, The Secret, is true and amazing. It's possible that in Prison Break, Mary MacIntosh has to find some of them buried in, ancient Native American, sites like the Medicine Wheel in the Bighorn Mountains and Devil's Tower in northeastern Wyoming. These places do exist. They're national treasures of Wyoming. Chapter 10, Little Known Facts About the Wild West. When a man drove wagons across the West, either to transport passengers or freight or both, they often took another man to sit next to them, and this man carried a shotgun for safety. This later became a modern shout-out when somebody wanted to sit in the front passenger seat of a car. People yell, "Shotgun!" Just a fun fact that I like to point out sometimes when I'm writing as segues into my next chapter. Chapter 12. The Great Seal of the United States features on the back of the U.S. dollar bill, which contains a pyramid with an all-seeing eye at its top, known as the Eye of Providence. The pyramid itself represents strength and endurance, and the unfinished state symbolizes the nation is still growing. The Eye of Providence is also thought to represent divine guidance or the favor of God watching over the nation. It is also the Great Seal of the Freemasons, and how that all comes together in Prison Break is something you'll have to read the book to discover. But Mary MacIntosh does a great job using the Eye of Providence to help solve this crime in Wyoming. The Medicine Wheel, which I just allured to her, is located about 20 miles west of Burgess Junction in the Bighorn Mountains, and it sits in elevation about 9,600 feet on Medicine Wheel Mountain. It's a sacred Native American site, and the road to the Medicine Wheel offers stunning views of the surrounding mountains. This place exists. I've been there as a little girl many of times. We had a cabin up there growing up. Visitors hike a short distance from the parking lot to reach the site. It's very much like Stonehenge outside of London, where there's rocks placed in a circle fashion, and it is a Native American worshiping site closed to the public in the month of June so that Native Americans from all over North America can come and worship here. It's also a very important part of this novel where there could be one of those cryptic messages or casks buried, according to Mary MacIntosh. And here's to chapter 27, where we pivot to Devil's Tower, which I alerted to. It's an ancient volcanic feature rising 1,267 feet above the surrounding landscape, reaching an elevation of 5,112 feet above sea level in northeast Wyoming. It's made of funnelite rare igneous rock, and it was formed through the intrusion of magma millions of years ago. If you ever visit Devil's Tower in northeastern Wyoming, you will notice it's this beautiful monolith that stands out for miles and miles, and it also is a Native American worshiping site. It also could be where a crime might happen in Prison Break and where one of these casts could be buried that Mary MacIntosh needs to find. So this is part of Prison Break, the Mary MacIntosh novel. I encourage readers to grab a copy, enjoy it. It's been one of my bestsellers, and it is a fun, fast-paced combination of true crime and fiction, and Mary MacIntosh is our protagonist at the helm. Thank you for joining me for Only the Truth today, examining Prison Break, a Mary MacIntosh novel, and join me next time where we pivot to our next Mary MacIntosh adventure. Thank you. Take care.